Noel, Mark Snuffy, Chris Prince, Lavinio, and many others. These players represent the current best in the world within the story of Blue Lock. However, their time at the top is finite. Soon enough, they will be replaced by the new generation, the U20, the era which our beloved story highlights. So let's picture the future of football by ranking the current top 10 U20 players in Blue Lock right now. To kick the list off, at the number 10 position we have the demon Shido Ryusei. With 4 goals in the Qweiyx League, Shido's explosive ability to capitalize on broken plays have generated a lot of success for him. Most notably was his Dragon Drive header, which was created through a Genius X Genius chemical reaction with none other than Charles Chevalier. Shido is a top striker within the Blue Lock project, where he can improve further by working on his consistency. Shido's play is very unpredictable and polarizing, leading to moments where he scores a super goal, becoming the center of the world, but then in the next moment vanishing from the play. A very talented player with a high ceiling, and that's why he makes the list at the number 10 position. At the number 9 position, we have the king himself, Baro Shoei. He's racked up 7 goals in the NEL, making him the joint top goal scorer. Baro Shoei is a great representation of the complete striker archetype, and with his ruthless finishing ability, Baro has shown the success that can be attained when a team constructs itself around him as the centerpiece. Baro is another A-tier striker in Blue Lock. Great on paper, but his mindset limits his application. His refusal to work with others and obsession with scoring all the goals himself has led to him starting on the bench in both the Blue Lock vs U20 match as well as the U20 World Cup. Moving on to the number 8 position, we have Bachira Meguru, the most underrated player on this list in my opinion. 7 goal contributions in the Qweiyx League, plus 2 more in the U20 World Cup, making him the best performer thus far. Bachira's dribbling ability is unrivaled in the Blue Lock facility, and on top of that, he's also a complete playmaker. I rate him so highly due to his ability to influence the game in numerous ways beyond simply scoring. These extra dimensions of play is what makes Bachira so creative, versatile, and complementary in systems, even with other stars. Moving swiftly now, at number 7 we have Don Lorenzo, the only inclusion of a defender in this list. The Italian new generational World 11 defender, valued at 280 million, is amongst the most expensive players in the U20 category, and with reason. His crowning feat so far? Shutting down Michael Kaiser himself when Bayern Munich clashed with the Ubers. Never forget, Lorenzo was the first player to stop the Kaiser impact, even taking a hit to the face. Lorenzo's play goes beyond mastery of defensive duels. We've seen his competent dribbling ability, which allows him to move up the field and create goal-scoring opportunities for the Ubers. What stopped me from ranking Lorenzo higher was the cracks in his late-game performance against Bayern Munich, as well as the fact that Ubers lost 2 of their 4 games in the NEL. Nevertheless, the zombie Lorenzo has definitely earned his spot at the rank number 7. Now, this might surprise you. At the number 6 position, I have Isagi Qweiyx, the name everyone is talking about. That includes Nigeria's coach and captain Kuso, who can't help themselves but to glorify him. Statistically, he's had the best NEL performance with 8 goal contributions, split evenly between goals and assists. What makes Isagi so terrifying, however, is his adaptability. His metavision gives him full awareness of the field, allowing him to stop even the strongest players. Match after match in the NEL, Isagi proved he can outthink anyone in front of him. But here's where I've changed my stance. In my last ranking, I had Isagi above Rin. Upon re-evaluation, however, his lack of elite physical traits and implicit reliance on Kaiser cap him here at number 6. He's still one of the greatest players in Blue Lock, but not quite above Rin at this time. Speaking of Itoshi Rin, I've set him here at the number 5 position, just ahead of Isagi. Itoshi Rin is the depiction of the most well-rounded player in the Blue Lock facility. His physicals are insane, with elite shooting accuracy and dribbling ability, plus his football IQ, which is amongst the best in Blue Lock, allowing him to dictate the flow of a game at will. Rin's most polarizing weapon is also his weakness, that is the destroyer flow. As we know, when he taps into it, all of his specs become amplified, making him almost unstoppable. The drawback is his decision making suffers, especially when compared to Water Rin. This is most clear when Rin interacts with the 2 players he seeks to crush, Isagi Qweiyx and of course Itoshi Sai. During the intermission period between the NEL and the U20 World Cup, we saw Rin take some time to reflect on his ego and core motivations. I believe if the genius Rin Itoshi can demonstrate more control over his destroyer state in the U20 World Cup, he will inevitably move further up the rankings. At 4th place, I have Mr. 400 million himself, the God's chosen emperor, Michael Kaiser, the definition of a new generational striker. Imagine taking the strengths of Isagi and Rin and combining them into an entity whilst deducting their weaknesses. That is literally Michael Kaiser, the only player confirmed to wield both Metavision and Predator Eye, with elite movement, ruthless finishing, and of course the Kaiser impact. He's already operating at the professional level, but even Kaiser has room for development. It was great seeing him innovate in the last 2 games of the NEL, producing 2 super goals, the Kaiser Impact Bicycle as well as the Kaiser Impact Magnus. Still, the Neo Iguis League proved to us that his signature move isn't untouchable, having been blocked by both Lorenzo and Charles. That slight vulnerability keeps him just outside the top 3, but make no mistake, Kaiser is still the definition of a generational striker. It's time for the top 3. At the 3rd place position, we have Japan's greatest treasure, Itoshi Sai. Technique, composure, passing ability, even goal scoring ability. Itoshi Sai is the benchmark of elitism in Blue Lock. Sai's character is shrouded in so much mystery, but we know for sure his vision and control over the tempo of a game remain unmatched. The talented learner Itoshi Sai dictates play with effortless class. When he's on the pitch, it feels like the game can't help but bend to his rhythm. But what keeps him just outside the top 2 is ceiling and narrative implication. Itoshi Sai is elite, almost untouchable, but the 2 players ahead of him are nearing the level where it begins to feel inhuman. Whilst Sai represents technical mastery, the final 2 monsters represent something closer to pure football genius. At the number 2 position, we have Bunny Iglesias. At just 19 years old, he's already playing for FC Barca's first team, leading their attack alongside Lavinho. Bunny's physical profile is insane. He stands at 191 centimeters tall, and his jumping power makes him a monster in the air due to his unmatched vertical and flexibility. He wasted no time improving this by scoring within the first minute of the Copa del Rey final against Chocorin, practically the Atletico Madrid of Blue Lock's world. On one of the biggest stages possible, he delivered instantly. But it's the narrative implications that elevate Bunny so highly. That rare crack in Sai's composure, watching Bunny on the world stage, has practically told us the entire story. Bunny is the player who broke Sai's striker ego, forcing him to convert into a midfielder, and the evidence lines up. Soon after, Sai declared he would join the U20 Japan national team, but only if Blue Lock survived the group stage. Why do you think that is? It's because joining Japan gives him the chance to face Spain, and by extension Bunny Iglesias. If Bunny is the reason why Sai changed positions and set his sights on Spain, then his impact isn't just physical, it's narrative defining. And with this being only his first season at Barca, Bunny's ceiling is terrifying. That's why he earns the number 2 spot in my ranking. And finally, at the number 1 position, we have the prodigy of prodigies, Julian Loki. Loki is in a whole different league from every other player we have discussed today. He isn't an upcoming prospect, he's an established professional. Whether it be his inclusion in the World 5, the selected master striker representing the French league, or his inclusion as the striker of the France national team. Not to mention, he's even been singled out by Noel himself, who admitted, "The biggest threat to me is Loki." That's how highly even the best in the world views him. In the short time we've seen him play, Loki has quickly backed up his reputation with feats. He is the fastest player in the world we have come across so far, a player who operates at a speed logic can't fathom. Remember when Kaiser lined up the Kaiser Impact free kick? Loki literally waited to see the ball's trajectory before moving, sprinted across, blocked it clean, and then called it slow before starting a counter-attack. That's not human. Julian Loki represents the pinnacle of what a Blue Lock striker could ever hope to be. He has demonstrated a level of dominance which, until further notice, leaves him at the top as the strongest U20 player in the entirety of Blue Lock. That's my top 10 strongest U20 players in Blue Lock. Now I want to see yours. Who's too high, who's too low, and who did I leave out? Drop your version of the list in the comments and I'll pin the best one. Thanks for watching.